What's up, Zox fam? We're back with some more Godforge. Now, we're going to be getting into the reality of game development part 2. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably like, yo, where have you been, man? Well, listen, there's been a lot of amazing things going on in the background. I'll probably share that stuff in another video. But we're going to go ahead and jump right into this, give our 2 cents. Of course, this is being premiered. So, of course, make sure you check out the Fateless YouTube page. But let's go ahead and let's get right into it.
Hey guys, this is Simon from Fateless. I've got an absolute mammoth video for you today.
Okay, let's see.
There's different inflection points where you are running a new game development company where you basically have to take stock and say, right, are we on the right track? You know, do we need to pivot any of our actions, our pipelines, anything to make sure that we deliver a brilliant product? And ultimately, everything this team wants to do right now is deliver a fantastic game which is enjoyable for the players, which also returns some profit for our business and our investors. And ultimately, you know, everyone is just like thrilled when the product comes out. We've been able to attract an insane team, honestly. If you've not watched the podcast where we talked about some of the new people coming in, wow. Actually, like crazy that have been in the industry for a long time. I mean,
to be real with you, like I'm not surprised, only because like when you see these types of like projects, a lot of the times people are able to tell when something is something special, right? Like I think that that's usually the case. Usually individuals that are successful, like I've even seen that in my own personal career, like people that have invested in me or even like those that I've decided to invest in, you can kind of always see that potential. And really, honestly, the only way you can really be successful in life in general is taking chances. And I feel like that's really what this is all about, right? Like I feel like from the foundation, the team itself full of these amazing creators are taking a chance on trying to do something completely different, infiltrating the space in a different way with a different mentality. And so that kind of being the foundation is just what you're going to kind of attract. It's just what I believe, at least. So, I'm not necessarily surprised, but I am very, very excited that a lot of different individuals that are extremely talented or have different ties or connections are willing to join into this process and really trying to help out, I would say.
And game development. And actually, they've come in and done a bit of an audit of where we are so far. And we've almost had to put a bit of a stop on certain activities to then rebuild up with more effective pipelines, more effective management of assets, and work with specific groups if we need to enhance what we're going to do for the future. So we kind of had this moment in time where we're actually looking at, should we change anything? And in this video, I'm going to take you through a couple of really cool meetings, like presentations that we had yesterday. I'm going to take you through some new 2D, some new 3D.
Oh yeah, this video is about to be sick, man.
I'm going to take you through how we're changing some proportions of characters and what that looks like. I'm going to take you through animations, this kind of like new feel to a 3D gym where we're able to see animations and VFX. So a whole ton of stuff. I've seen a ton of stuff in our Discord. By the way, you can join the Discord. I'll put a link down below. You can also still sign up to the beta. We've got over 25,000 people signed up at this point, but I'll put the link to that down below as well. But yeah, in the Discord, I see a lot of people say, when is this game coming out? I thought you said it was this year or whatever. We've never said that.
They always said next year.
Q1 next year.
Yeah.
And the launch is planned for, Q3 next year. That being said, we will launch a beta or the game when we think it's good enough for you guys to play it. Okay, and that's just being honest.
Yeah, I feel like this is also like a really big like takeaway point. There's another game I'm currently doing some community management on called A Theory of Restart, and that question gets asked every single day. And I've had to develop, like I literally have a copy paste like response now for when people ask that question, because I get like the excitement behind it, but I also feel like sometimes, community members don't understand that, right? You want the team to take as much time as they possibly can to develop a amazing product, because if you get something in your hand and it's not up to par or you feel it's subpar, you're going to, one, either be disappointed, you're going to hear a lot of flack about it. I mean, which granted, that's going to happen even if it is overall an amazing product, right? You're going to have people doing that anyway. But you want to decrease the likelihood of that. You want the chances of the game being successful much higher. And every little bit of the game, and this is just a thing that I've learned from all alphas, beta tests that I've been a part of, which have been about hundreds of them at this point. Anytime you put out anything about your game, that is held against you, right? Like every little aspect, like how the game looked, it could be a complete alpha and people are going to completely judge the game as if it's the official release off of the alpha. So this is why I think it is in their best interest to making sure that whatever they do give or whatever they do present is fleshed out to some degree. They're going through this revamp, kind of changing stuff before they develop too much stuff, because I think it's much harder to kind of unravel things you've already put in the time, the effort, and maybe even the money into to unravel that versus, okay, we stopped here. Let's take a look, see what we can revamp, change, and then continue building. So it's really honestly just kind of looking at the bigger picture moment, I feel like. So that's at least my takeaway there.
And we want, as I said earlier, to deliver a brilliant product. So let's dive in. Let me take you first.
All right, let's get into it.
A good chunk of the presentation that Dane gave yesterday. And Dane is our art director. And pretty much like these meetings are awesome. So firstly, what we do is we get the whole Fateless team together and we have the different leads of departments take the team through their progress, their challenges, all that type of stuff.
Yep.
Because it gives everyone a better feel, I guess, for how the project is moving, what those different departments are actually working on. You know, we saw an awesome thing from the design team, which I'm not sharing today, which takes people through all of the onboarding process for like early tutorial.
Oh, like starting the game out. Okay.
Honestly, it was a brilliant piece of work, but that's a bit too much to share right now. But this one is awesome. So this is from Dane. Basically took us through some of his thoughts. So the good, the bad, and the ugly is where he started. He's basically saying, you know, for initial concepts, we're getting closer to a straight tick from the concept artist. So they're really now getting a style, and I think they're letting the reins off a bit, which is what we wanted from, you know, our artists. Ultimately, it's like, come on, like bring your enthusiasm for these characters. Go bigger rather than go smaller is kind of like the message.
That's fair.
We're getting that now. We're getting progress in cutscenes and the cinematic. I'm going to show you a couple of snippets of that in this video. We've got new kind of meeting structure, which is helping iterations and also helping artists to basically collaborate with each other, which is brilliant. It's exactly what we want. We've got improvement on technical issues, allowing facial stuff going on. We've got better rigs now, which means that the animations are smoother. Lots of improvements behind the scenes that you wouldn't have seen so far in our videos, but I'm going to show you a bit of it today. Technical aesthetics are being addressed, things like visual quality, proportions. Again, I spoke about that a little bit, but we're going to see it. And then we're improving our sprint results in terms of speed of delivering stuff.
Oh yeah, this is pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie, this might not be that important to some, but this type of stuff is important to me. I will say, like, one game I was heavily a part of, Weather and Waves. There was a artist, one of their lead like developers, like he was like one of their art developers or whatever. He I think his name was Dung or something like that. But he was the reason why like one of their like coolest artists coolest characters was created from their original or predecessor game, Punishing Gray Raven. And when they moved that guy over to the other game, like believe it or not, the artists and the effort that they put in and the enthusiasm that they show, like I've seen artists in these, again, mobile games make a name for themselves to where people actually follow them and they want to see like what their next work is going to be. Are they going, like, you know, say, after Godforge, you know, maybe years from now or even closer, like during the development of, or while Godforge is out, you know, another game comes out for Fateless, you know, people are going to be interested in seeing like, hey, is this artist going to be on that game too? Like that kind of happens sometimes. So I think it is cool that they're starting to kind of ramp that like enthusiasm and kind of like taking that scaling up, going bigger with the vision, like you said, versus going smaller, because that could actually pay off a lot for those artists, which I think is like, you know, just one point I just wanted to kind of mention.
The big kind of like blockers really for us releasing on time. Number of characters, number of environments, all that type of stuff, number of bosses. So the bad here, we've got fixing pipelines and standards feels like it's setting us back. This was like Dane's feeling, or certainly the team's feelings, like putting a stop on things to fix these different elements feels like we're just kind of like wading through quicksand. But actually, when you come out the other end, you're fixing pipelines to go faster and to be improved. So you kind of have to do these things from time to time. The first big change we made in this game was actually when we changed our combat system. And since that moment in time, honestly, we haven't looked back. It's just felt better and better and better. So this is one of those moments, I think, where take stock, improve, and then we fly forward.
I think the best analogy I can give off of that is it's like when you have, like, for people that have had really long hair like I used to, it's like when you cut your ends off, you lose length, but ultimately it actually helps the production or the growth, value or speed of your hair. Your hair is much healthier and it grows, and it eventually will surpass that length that you had. You know, if you keep those dead ends, then you don't see any growth, and the progression just kind of stops and it starts splitting in all different directions you don't want it to go in. So it's really honestly genuinely that, right? So I 1,000% agree with that.
The ugly category here, he says, the structure for developing stages and environments needs to catch up with other pipelines, things like character development. So environments probably, in terms of implementation, is just lagging behind. And that's something which we're working on right now, and you'll see that in this video. So this was a nice little breakdown, actually.
Okay.
Very arty Dane style, which I like. So 76 of our characters are now fully made in 3D.
Nice.
108 are designed in 2D. And obviously we've got a chunk left to go.
That's a lot of characters.
Number of
that is good.
Characters that we will launch with at this point. You know, we're aiming for 250 for launch, and we'll see if we get there or not, but that's the aim. You know, we're close to over 180 that have been at least concepted, which is massive.
Yeah, that is massive. That's insane.
We've got a number of like 150 that we want to hit. That's going to be a number of the factions in a decent chunk, plus some enemies to fight from different factions. So again, 41 actually made, 78 concepted. We're a decent chunk of the way to what we want for beta. We then go into like what we're looking forward to. So honestly, cool environments that are easier to collaborate on, clean animations because of our new pipeline management.
Okay.
More hero diversity because a lot of the ones we've got to do are kind of like high rarity stuff.
Yeah, got to make sure those are bangers.
A VFX and character staging gym. I'm going to show you early stages of this today. So let's get into it then. So some new concepting coming in here. Damn. If you had to pick one of these samurai, which one would you pick?
It would be the first one.
I was like, I literally want all three in the game.
Yeah, all three do need to be in the game, but if I had to pick, it'd be the first one.
They are so damn good.
That's good.
All of them in the game. But yeah, really, really cool work. Absolutely flipping amazing, honestly.
This is what I was talking about when I did the podcast with Simon, Sham, and Chosen. Was the identity, right? Like, I feel like now every time I see a piece of art, I'm like, oh, that's Fateless. Like, I think even if I didn't have any of the logos or any of that, if this was just on the internet and I was scrolling like on Twitter or on Facebook and I came across this, I would say, and somebody else could slap their logo on it, I'd be like, nah, that's from Fateless. You know, like, I think that's one of the cool things that we're actually starting to see now is that the game has more of it does have an identity. It's not that it has more of, it's just, it has an identity, right? And that was one of my big things, was just keeping that, because that is going to serve this game, the company, so well. As the game continues to grow and becomes even more popular, people are going to be looking for these types of things and excited for these types of things, like myself.
So good. YST's probably doing somersaults right now. Like, these look sweet.
Yeah, they do.
So you can see some of our new concept artists are really kind of like getting the feel of the game and the feel of this genre, honestly. You know, in terms of like really pushing the boat. We've got another one here where we kind of had a test concept artist come in. And
I like that. I like that a lot.
This is from the Echo faction, so you know, different type of vibes, different type of feel, and that's exactly what we need. We need a faction to have like a, you know, this feel behind it that is really sweet.
And then ooh,
oh, man. I don't know if I was meant to show this one. Heimdall.
Ooh,
looking absolutely insane right now.
Dang.
Cloak, look at everything that is going on.
That's crazy.
Snow particles on all Bifrost aura.
And the Gallahorn there too.
Got this VFX kind of feel going into the concept work. the different patterns here. You know, the weapon Hofau
Yeah,
tended to look like a cosmic key. So
yeah, that looks
to
insane.
use the Bifrost Bridge. Just so good. I absolutely love it.
That's insane. I'm not gonna lie.
As always. Another one of our newer concept arts.
Ooh.
Kelly Tan.
Is that Lu Bu?
Guan Yu. Yeah.
Oh, Guan Yu. Okay, I was like,
Hits the mark.
I was like, it's one of them.
3D now.
Guan Yu, though. Yeah, that's definitely Guan Yu.
Ultimately, for the Jade Empire, we're starting to get some of the heroes coming through.
Yeah, that's sick.
This is another cool one. Tengu.
That's one of the Tengu. Yeah, that's a Oni demon thing.
Well, but really sweet. I love the side profile. Give me a longer nose. That's all I want. Yeah, really cool. Great weaponry as well. But yeah, you start to get a feel for.
I actually agree with the longer nose too.
That Guinevere here. Yeah, you just kind of get the sense of different factions, different vibe, and the amount of work that goes into this concepting is.
Hey, this might be an unpopular opinion, but the Guinevere in this game looks way better than the one in King Arthur, Legends Rise. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. Nobody come for me, but.
Like extremely high to make sure the 3D guys have got a really great vision. And then this is an example of
okay.
A rare hero where we're still able to use a decent amount of kit bashing to hit our speed that we need. Okay, and some games what they'll do is they'll take the exact model and just retexture it, and that's a hero. We're not doing that. We're kit bashing pieces from models, and we're able to basically always create a new feel of character.
I like that.
From the different kit basher ideas. So you can see we're kind of like taking elements from Shamash, from Satyr, from Imhotep, from Ceres, from the Berserker. And
okay, I like how they're doing that.
Different pieces to create a decent speed, but still feel unique to the character that we're trying to create. So in Kidu here is, just sweet. I think, certainly for rares.
For a rare, yeah.
Commons, we're able to speed up the sort of cadence of what we're doing, and it means that we're able to hit our timelines that we want to hit. So this is an example of where we've improved some of the.
I like that.
Rigging and
it's a little less stiff.
Just get a more realistic feel.
Yeah.
And for you guys, you're probably like, oh, it's just a dude running, right? But actually, the kind of feel of it is way better than it was before, and these type of small touches make a big difference when you're trying to play in the space that we're playing in. For the gotcha genre, I guess.
Yeah, this like right here is a good example of like being able to see weight, right? Like we kind of talk about this a little bit when you're playing certain games, like impact, weight. Sometimes you don't feel those things in like the betas, and then when the games come out, it's like, oh, okay, they finally added that impact. It's kind of the same thing with movement. Like movement can have a couple of different values or factors that make it not seem as fluid, or it's very stiff. This is definitely seeming like it's considering a couple of different things, the weight of like the armor or whatever, clothing the character has on, but also just the realism behind how would a person be running in this type of stuff, right? Like that's something that you would have to kind of consider. Like granted, they're gods, but like, yeah, they're probably like, hey, if a character's wearing heavy armor, are they going to be running exactly the same like this other character that's wearing, the light padded ninja gear? Like, like that's something, you kind of have to think about, and you want those variances because those are very, very minute details that can end up being really massive collectively when you're starting to kind of look at the game overall and what's gonna, be somebody's favorite thing about a character. I will say those types of things like end up being like people's favorite things, how a character holds a sword, how the character might be running to the next animation stage, if they're flying, those little details can be a huge part in what makes a character someone's favorite. So paying attention to those, I think, is really, really important.
So yeah, this is Odin taking a bit of a run. We've then got a couple of kind of like finished 3D characters.
Oh man, that looks so good.
Getting her turntable, we've seen her before. Really good sort of makeup work here. And then we've got Aslak, who's like a gritty kind of Norse hero who, it's going to be a rare, but ultimately kind of got that.
That's a rare?
Type of
that looks good.
Which we like. And then to show you a little bit on 3D environments. So we're starting to get more stages in game right now. So,
yeah, that looks really good for a rare.
This one, it doesn't sell it as well as it does in game, but this is the Eka stage where we're exploring different feel to the level design. You can see kind of more of a close-up of the assets that have been created to do these designs. We've also got a playthrough of
Yeah, that breakdown was crazy.
assets that have been created for our Celtic type of vibe, so the Avalon faction. And again, these are all kind of done so that we can piece bits together in different levels and basically have a different level feel all the time. When you're running through kind of like different campaigns, you can see a whole bunch of like statue work that was done, arches, all sorts of stuff. Wagons and stuff in the background here. These type of asset packs we create for each of the different campaigns.
Yeah, that's sick.
So there's also a lot of work that's going on cutscenes. I think we finished 3 of the cutscenes now, which is kind of like our storytelling. They're going to be parallax stories. I'm just going to show you a couple of frames just to show you the kind of like level that we're going.
Okay.
Cutscenes, which look pretty sweet. So we'll be telling the story of our world through these as you're working your way through campaign. Again, these are going to be like parallax animation, so with a voiceover. So you're going to be able to.
That voice is going to be really impactful.
I don't know if I'm allowed to show this, but I'm going to show one frame of our cinematic right now. The cinematic song is done, and it is
that looks good.
Insane. It's so good. And then the work being done right now.
That looks so good, man.
Visual fidelity and stuff for our storytelling in the cinematic is just out of this world as well. So really, really cool presentation here from Dane yesterday. But yeah, let me show you some of the 3D gym and that stuff as well. Actually, I'm going to start with proportion changes.
Okay.
So this was one of our base models for females. So each of the genders has got currently 3 different base models. And then we've got different models for like a giant, for creatures.
Oh, that's smart. Yep.
For bosses, all that type of stuff. So ultimately what you do is you have a certain number of base models and then you kind of like build your characters out of those. That means that when you rig them in game to animate them, you're kind of able to use similar rigs for a number of characters. Okay, so it gives you a process. This was one of our old base models for female.
Okay.
And Damon's come into the team and basically done some work on this. So it did feel like when these models had all of their gear on,
they were
felt quite squat and dwarfish, honestly. So, it's something that we've just been talking about. And they're not small, like the height, 7.5
There you go,
is
yeah.
not small. It's kind of in line with what games would do. But you can see here, we flipped to the new version. This is now an 8 heads. Barely feels different, honestly, but
it's trying to give more room for the weight
coming through.
Yep.
So this is now the new model. The cool thing here, so new to old, you can see the change. The cool thing is, doesn't mean everyone's going to be this exact shape. With the new model, you're able to add more meat on the bones. Yeah, so you can see what Damon is doing right here. So change it to like a curvy fit. Can also go really thin to have like a skeleton or a white or just a really thin female. Or you can also go much bigger as well. So with the same base model now, we're able to do tons more variety. And variety is really important. The same like level of work has been done on all of our base meshes so that we're just able to have way more variety for hero type with the models that we've got.
That's pretty sick. Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Really good work. Yeah, so let me show you then our gym, the 3D gym, which is pretty cool, honestly. It's so cool. So within Unity, we've now set up an environment. If you don't know how this works, you kind of every level you build, I guess, is like its own scene. We're building this scene for a gym. The reason being is we want to be able to test animations and VFX in like a game environment. Really so we can literally select any of our heroes that are currently imported into the game and test their animations in a game environment in that kind of like battle visual.
That's nice.
It's really cool. So we're able to rotate characters around to change that.
I think we see it a little bit too many names here.
We can also
we're seeing a lot of names here, Simon.
that build. So
Sidious over there, like Icarus. Oh my God, the Fae enchant, bruh. Oh my God.
Is it feeling good?
Dracula, like.
For us, it isn't about perfection at this point. It's just about does it feel
oh my
good?
God.
Does it feel right? The VFX team are able to.
The VFX are looking way better.
You can see here, so this is Damon then throwing it into one of our environments. So he's putting the same type of gym, but into our Khajiit stage, for example, which is honestly extremely cool. So we can test things like the lighting in the environments. We can test things like
that's
the
really
animation
good.
points and whether they still have the right sort of impact within environments. So what's cool here, you can literally just see Damon flick from one scene to another, and we're able to test things so much quicker. It's actually
that's really sick.
Kit that
And the lighting and everything changes with it.
Ooh,
look at that. That looks so much better with Anubis now.
In the camera, you can really see we've got some passes to do on lighting and stuff like that. But you can see we kind of blurred the background out because this is all about
what's in that focal. Yep.
Get a feel for the characters, right? And whether they're really flowing well. But I mean, damn. It's actually so good. Okay, the last thing I want to show you here is the work that's been done around VFX. So again, we had this kind of like moment in time where we stopped and...
you look at that Soul Calibur? It's about to be top tier. That's one of my favorite games, bro. It's going to be so good.
VFX for our game. So what we looked at is other games in this genre or general RPG stuff and like what fits the style we're trying to achieve. So you can see here, Soul Calibur 6 was like one of the inspirations for the type of vibe we want.
Oh, yeah, because that had Geralt in it, The Witcher in it. Yeah, and that was a good one.
Ability hits. It's the type of elemental
I can see that.
Damage and stuff like that we'd want. We looked at games like Honkai Star Rail. They're probably a bit too kind of like fast and crazy for us, but the quality they achieve is really strong. And then we wanted to look at games like Diablo 4.
Ooh,
which
okay.
Great use of lighting and light and dark contrast. We looked at games like League of Legends.
Oh, Arcane. That's fire.
The work they do is really good. And then we basically have done a couple of tests with a new VFX concept art. So we've kind of got, Odin's abilities here, Ragnarok and Hunting Party and what that could feel like.
Okay.
Which
That's
is
really
very
good.
Cool. And we've also got Hell abilities here as well, which are a work in progress at the moment. But ultimately trying to land these really, really cool effects. And I guess one final thing to show you.
All right, let's see.
Which is pretty sweet. So I showed you Hell. What was it? Maybe for Halloween, which was a little while ago. It's just this kind of reveal here of Hell kind of coming into the game and having an idol breaker done. Well,
yeah, she looks so good.
We've also been working on just some of the animation. So we don't have VFX
So the
yet,
cloak,
we do have now this kind of very slick, honestly.
Oh,
very slick feel to her animations. And this is the level of quality we're moving into. So
that's sick, yeah.
I mean, look, tons going on, tons to absorb in that video. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you sub to this YouTube channel and ring the bell so you do not miss all of our
I gotta say, man, Fateless is doing their thing, man. We're gonna be pumping out some videos. I've been thinking of some new concepts and different types of videos that I want to bring to the Godforge channel. I'm actually really excited, man. Like I said, there's gonna be another video I'll probably have kind of going over some of the amazing things that I got going on. But yeah, Fateless, I gotta say, man. Everything going on with Godforge, this game development video, this is what I live for. I love seeing this type of stuff. That's why even like being YouTuber, I'm like kind of now starting to dabble more. And not even now, but I have been doing it for now about 2 years as far as being a content creator and doing it at the same time. But really getting more involved in like community oriented stuff, really getting behind the scenes and like really looking into these types of things because this stuff is just really cool to see develop over time. And I think that they're doing such an amazing job with being able to take that constructive criticism, having individuals come in that are experts at what they do and not just looking at it like, oh, we already know what we want to do. Like they're like, you know what, actually, like let's take a moment, let's take a step back, let's revise some of these things because we really do want to put our best foot out there, put the best game we possibly can put out there. And I think that this is not only going to be great for them as a company, for us as content creators, but for you guys as viewers. This is the type of energy and the type of formatting that you want to have before the game even hits the market, right? This, in my opinion, is the type of thing that you should be putting your money into, your faith into, and your time into. So, of course, with that being said, I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Of course, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I would truly appreciate that. All of you guys, stay blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.